Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Get on in here. Get on in here. Get on in here. I know I'm a little late. Get on in here. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. How y'all feeling this morning? Good morning. Good morning. Wait just one more second and I'm gonna get started. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Amber. Good morning. One more second and I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna be very brief, but very, very pointed in what I want to say. Okay. All right. All right. I'll get started. First of all, good morning to you all. Hope you have an amazing morning. If not, shift it now. You know, get that in your membrane. I'm gonna have a good morning, regardless of what's going on. Um, I wanted to talk to y'all this morning about it is okay to turn the page. It's okay to turn the page. Um, good morning. Good morning. It's okay to turn the page. Um, I was having a discussion the other day with one of my sisters, and you know, um, she was mentioning to me some things, and um, some points in our lives is like people don't want us to shift. They don't want us to change. They don't want us to get better. They don't want us to move on. But you got to give yourself permission to turn the page. Um, that last chapter in your life, or that last situation in your life, or even that last job, or even whatever it is, you got to give yourself permission to turn the page. So many times we stuck on the same page, reading the same book in our lives, going through the same cycle, because we are afraid to turn the page. And I know that turning the page comes with all kind of, just the thought of it comes with, sometimes it can come with anxiety and resistance. Like, hey, I'm not sure about that next. You really don't like where you are, but you comfortable, or it's getting it done for the moment. But that next page or that next chapter comes, feels like, what will happen? Well, what if this don't go right? And instead of dealing with the what ifs, just turn the page. That last page, the last chapter did not get accomplished what you wanted to get accomplished, but it's okay to put a period there. It's okay to say that that was the end of that, and make it be known. Regardless of how people feel about it or how they respond to it, it's up to you to still put that period and turn that page. And if you are committed to your own success, you're committed to your own prosperity, your own moving forward, then you would find the strength to just go ahead and turn that page, put the period there, stop that, and put an end to that, and do something new. Write your own story for the new chapter. Write your own story for what's going on in your life. What's up, Adrian? Write the own story. Write the next chapter. You be the you set the narrative for what's going to go on in the next chapter. Sometimes we let other people write our chapters out. This time you got to write your own chapter out. You be the author to your book. Write it out the way you want to write it out. Make sure the characters that need to be in the story are the right characters. Make sure the plot is the right plot, because you determine all of those things. Don't let somebody else determine it. They may have in the past, or you may have allowed them to in the past. But moving forward, turn the page and you write the story. Don't let anybody else write your story for you. Don't let anybody make up your mind for you. You got to make sure that you get the story right. Make sure they read it right, because you wrote it right. Not because somebody else wrote it, not because somebody else said this was supposed to happen, or somebody else controlled. There's a lot of people that like to manipulate other people, and sometimes you can't see the manipulation, or can't see it off the bat. But once you identify that you have been manipulated, turn that page. Set the plot up differently. Change the characters. Sometimes you got to take some characters out. Some people got to go. Some people got to come. But don't be afraid to take that turn that page and change the chapter. Why? Because you been in the chapter you in have not gotten you the results that you wanted to have. And so you're after new things. You're after new things. And if you want something different, you got to do something different. You can't be doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You can't be doing the same thing and then just hoping or wishing it's going to happen. Somebody said, one of my coaches said to me, he said, you don't get the life you want. You get the life you go out and get. You don't get the life you want. It's not coming because you want it. It's not coming because you desire so bad. How bad do you want it? Don't have nothing to do with what you get. I want a lot of things. You might want $1 million right now, but that don't change anything. That want is not going to change any process. It's not going to change anything for you. But guess what? When you put your mind to it and you say, hey, I'm going in this direction, look in that direction only. Go in that direction. Find out where it goes. I don't care if it goes into a hole. At least you ain't in the last hole. Because guess what? You learned from that hole. And so if you find yourself in another one, you'll learn from that. But God willing that you don't even have to find a hole, because you're going to have clear direction on where you're going. You're going to write this chapter the right way. You're not going to let somebody else change the narrative or suggest that this is what's going on in the plot and this is the climax and this is the ending. No. You might have suggested the ending, but I have a different ending. Why? Because I'm going to turn the page. I'm going to put a period on that chapter. I'm going to turn the page. I'm giving myself permission to turn the page. I'm giving myself permission that this book is not over with. It may have been a hard fight coming, but it ain't over with. Why? Because I got more in me. I want to see something different. I want to do something different. And I'm determined to do that because why? I'm turning this page. I'm not going to stay where I'm at. I'm not going to stay where I'm at and then make up possibilities in my mind or imagination in my mind about what's really going on or what should be. No. It's not just going to be a want or a desire, imagination, or something that's in my mind. It's going to be something I live out. Why? Because I'm committed to that. I'm committed to turning the page, ending that chapter where it is. It doesn't serve you any longer. It doesn't benefit you any longer. So turn the page. Turn the page. Create another chapter so that you don't have to be on repeat mode on that same chapter. Reading the same chapter over and over and over and over. You read that chapter enough. You know the story. You can write a book, a movie, all that about that chapter. Now it's time that you start a new chapter. You create a new narrative. You suggest there's a new plot. Why? Because you're determined. You got to be tired of that, what you was used to. You got to be tired of what you had. You got to be tired of it. Get tired of that old chapter enough that you're going to make a new one. And get comfortable in making a new one. Don't let the anxiety, don't let the resistance, don't let the what if stop you from making a new chapter. You are tired of your old one. You tired of it. It's done. It's done served its purpose. It's that you done drew out of it everything you can draw out of it. All the lessons from that chapter you done learned. And if you haven't, you need to learn them so you can get to the next one. Don't just be repeating to repeat. Learn what you got to learn out of that chapter, put a period on it, and start a new one. It's okay. The book goes on. The book goes on. Life goes on. We're going to suffer loss. We're going to suffer grief. We're going to suffer disappointment. But guess what? I want to suffer some success now. I want to get a master's degree in prosperity. I want to get a master's degree in moving ahead. I want to get a master's degree in happiness. I've had the master's degree in trouble and trials. You know what I'm saying? I can write a book about it. But I'm determined now to let that book be changed. It's time to change. For the first 36 years, it was that. This next is going to be totally different because I realized that I cannot afford to go into my next still hanging on to my last. You do yourself a disservice trying to be new, trying to get into the new, trying to go into a new year, trying to do something new, trying to reinvent yourself, trying to put the next things forward, trying to go that route. You do yourself a disservice trying to do all that, holding on to that last chapter. You got to be comfortable with changing the chapter, but also letting go of that last one. Don't let that affect your next chapter. It might have been the situation, it might have been what was going on, but you don't have to let that affect your next. Because when you let it affect your next chapter, it's going to be a repeat of the last chapter. And so it's not going to be a period, it's going to be a comma. And you just turn in the page to continue the same chapter, but you need to put a period there. Make a distinct commitment that this is the last time I'm dealing with this. This is the last time I'm going to be having my focus distracted. Because guess what? In this next chapter, the right character is going to be around me. I'm going to make sure of that. I'm going to make sure I get the right characters around me so that I can produce the right things. Certain things are just allow or make conducive for certain things. You know that positivity is going to breed positivity. Negativity is going to breed negativity. So I'm going to make sure that in my next chapter of my life, I'm going to make sure that I surround myself with the right people, the right mindset, and the right direction. I need to know where I'm going. And that's the problem too. We allow the chapter to unfold as time goes on. No, this time you're going to write it out. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, write the vision, make it plain so those that read it can run with it. Well, you need to make your vision plain. You need to make sure that you're certain about where you're going. And when you make certain about where you're going, it's going to be easier to get there. Because guess what? You'll notice when you're not going in that direction. It's easier to notice distractions when you're focused. But when you're not focused, you don't know if it's a distraction or just something we do. That's why you got to get focused. You got to get hyper-focused. I was talking about that last year sometime, being hyper-focused. Get hyper-focused on where you're going so that you every distraction is going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's going to stick out to you. Nope. And don't let it just develop. Don't let it. Once you notice that it ain't going nowhere, or this is a distraction, or it's these things aren't going to profit you any, or this situation's not conducive for what your vision is, then you know to eliminate it. You know to look that doesn't go. Don't just let it fly no more. You got to get bold about your life. If you want to see certain things happen, you got to get bold enough to say nope. You don't belong in my life. Appreciate it, Adrian. Thanks for that scripture too. You don't belong in my life. This situation does not belong here. Nope, it doesn't fit this chapter. It could have fit in the last chapter. You may have well been able to stay in the last chapter, but now it can't. And you got to dust your feet off and go. Dust yourself off and go. It does not have to. Don't let it linger. Don't let it linger. If it has showed you, it's going to show you. You're going to know the tree by the fruit it bear. I ain't telling you to be a judger. I'm telling you to be an identifier. Identify the tree by the fruit. If it don't have fruit that look like it's going where you going, that's the tree you need to leave alone. We gotta start leaving those trees alone. Quit eating from that tree. It's not benefiting us. It's not benefiting us. We're not going anywhere. We're not growing. If you're in a situation and you see yourself month after month in the same situation, no growth, no transformation, then that's not a situation for you. Not this next chapter. Certain things you just got to say, I'm putting my foot down. I'm putting my foot down. It doesn't serve me anymore, so it has to go. I'm putting a period and I'm changing the page. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to change that page. Sometimes we get we become reluctant to change pages out of comfortability, like getting comfortable, getting set where we are. Don't be reluctant this time. You can't afford to wait. Think about it. How many more losses can you take? How many more failures can you put up with? And think about this. Sometimes we get so caught up in what other people think and what others are doing that we fail. We fail to put on the equation this. We fail to put on the equation this, that, hey, I got somebody else looking at me. Somebody else. I was just telling my mother this the other day. I said, I got a son that has to see what I've been doing. And most times, rather than not, they follow in the same paths. So I got to show him that this is what winners do. I got to show him this is what we do when we have conflict. This is how we resolve conflict. This is how we change chapters. This is how we, I got to put that DNA, I got to put that culture in him. Why? Because if I don't, he'll follow behind my unproductive cycles, and he'll get to an adult and he'll have unproductive cycles. But no, I want to change that so I don't create another generation of people that just sit there and waddle in it. I want to create a generation of people that get stuff done because I'm going to show them how to get it done. I'm going to show them that despite adversity, despite all the things I went through, I still was successful. I told you like years ago, I was getting ready to go cut hair, and my son grabbed the bag. Ain't got nothing in it, but I had a bag with my clippers in it, and he grabbed the bag and said, "Dad, I'm going with you. I'm gonna cut hair too." That let me know that he was looking, even at a young age. So I got to be mindful of what representation I put in front of him. You got to be mindful of the representation you put in front of your seed. You got to be mindful of the representation you put in front of your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your family. Why? Because they're looking at you too. And they need to see somebody win so they can get the confidence that they can win. So you got to make sure that you change this paper, change this chapter, not just for you, but change it for those people around you. If you care about the people around you, give them something to look towards. Give them something else, so that they can see, hey, it's possible. And that possibility is going to breed in me a hunger that I want it now. I want it. When I see other people successful, I don't be like, oh, are they successful? No, I'll be like, oh, it's possible. My cousin was telling me about, we are about to start a clothing line in that. And my cousin was talking to me about another clothing line. And he was like, man, this dude was doing this and this. I said, yes. He was like, what you talking about? I said, this possible. That if it can be done, if it's done, that means it can be done again. It can be replicated. It can be done again. Not that I'm going to do the same thing they done, but I know that if they can get it done, that means that it only takes effort and it only takes work. And I got the effort and I got the work, so I can have those same kind of blessings. I can have those same kind of benefits and reach those same goals. Change that chapter. Turn the page. It's okay. You got permission. Give yourself permission. Change the chapter. Last one didn't work. Put the period, end it, leave it where it is. Learn the lesson from it. Don't take anything else but the lesson. And go into your new chapter and do what you're called to do. I hope this bless you. If it has, share with somebody else. Y'all have the most amazing day. Um, Enjoy yourself. Good morning. Talk to y'all. See y'all tomorrow. All right, bye.